Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel. My name is Enrique Eddy and for today's video I'm going to be talking to you about 6 things that every man must have. This is non-negotiable because they're going to be things that are going to benefit you, that are very versatile, and that you're going to use on your day-to-day basis. So with that said, let's begin. The first thing that every man must have is a watch. The reason being, due to its purpose of telling you the time, you need to be aware of the time. And what better way to be aware of the time than having a watch? Because I've said this before, any guy can pull out his phone and tell you it's 3:29. But not any guy can look at his wrist and say, it's 3:29. It's a fashionable, classical, gentleman's piece in their wardrobe. Every man must have it. This is non-negotiable. Now, you really only need 2 watches, alright? As the one I have right here, I'll show you. It's a stainless steel linked watch, gray color, right? Has a nice detail here, the green inside. Also, check that out, right? Pretty nice, badass. Now, you really only need 2 watches. You need a leather band watch, a black or brown. I'd recommend a brown. It's a bit more versatile. And you need one like this, a linked stainless steel watch, right? The difference being that with a leather one, you can dress it up more easily. This one, you can still dress it up, right? But this is much more easily to be used casually, right? Because I could use this with sweatpants, right? But a leather watch wouldn't go really well with sweatpants, right? It's all about style, fashion, looking good, alright? So, obviously, the purpose of telling you time and being a fashionable gentleman. So, go get yourself a watch if you don't have a watch. The second thing that every man must own is a wallet. As you can see right here, it's a very basic, simple, minimalistic wallet. That's all you really need. You don't need something graphic, something that pops out. A simple black or brown leather wallet will do the job. Real leather, fake leather, it's a fake leather. It's your choice, whichever one you want. Now, the thing with wallets is 2 things. It's number 1, you want a slim fit wallet and you don't want to overpack it, right? Because if you have a regular wallet, especially if you overpack it, it's going to create a bulge. And if you have it in your back pocket right here, not only are you more likely to get robbed, right? But when you're sitting down, this is not ideal. Even if you put it in the front pocket, the bulge is going to show. It's not going to look aesthetic. It's certainly not going to be comfortable. It's just not ideal. That's why you want a slim fit wallet. And you also don't want to overpack your wallet, right? You put cash in here. You get the coins right here. You put some cards. It's really that simple. Now, the reality is, this is not a safe world, right? Even in some of the best neighborhoods, wherever you're on the planet, right? It's likely to get robbed, right? So only carry the basics that you have, right? Cash, carry no more than $100 bills. Don't even carry more than 50, right? Carry 50 at most, right? You carry some basic coins. You're always going to need coins, right? You carry 1 card at most, right? If you have like 5 cards, right? 2 debit cards, whatever, only carry 1. Carry the basics, right? Because if you get robbed, if you get your wallet stolen, and you have everything in there, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, right? It's going to be a lot of things to deal with, right? So you don't want to deal with all that trouble. So have a basic minimalistic wardrobe and carry the basics inside of it. The next thing that every man must have is a cologne. It's the one that I use on my day-to-day basis. It's the James Bond 007 cologne. I mean, come on, like, I love James Bond. Now, for applying it, you got 2 places. Number 1, the wrist. You got the back here and the front. And number 2, the neck. As you just saw, I applied it on the front of my neck. Very classical spot. The back as well, not so common, but still pretty classical. But the best spot is right here, behind the ears. The reason being, when you're giving someone a handshake, especially when you're going for a hug or when you're going for a kiss, the person is going to be able to smell that more. And if you have a good scent, if it's a girl, you're going to drive her crazy. Now, obviously, you don't want to go over, right? I recommend 2 to 4 squirts at most, right? And that's really it, right? For scents, you can play around, right? I got 3 colognes. This is the one I use on my day-to-day basis. And like I said, play around because you got all kinds of scents. You got scents that are for your day-to-day. You got scents that are more professional. And you got scents that are more romantic, right? It's all about trying out, seeing what you like, seeing what goes well for you, right? And obviously, don't overuse it, okay? Just get a basic cologne. First, to start off, get one that you use on your day-to-day basis, all right? And simply enjoy it, okay? Because you're going to smell good. When you smell good, you're going to feel good. And when you feel good, you're going to get the girls. The next thing that every man must have is access to training martial arts and working out. I'll give you a little tour right here. As you can see, I've got a little home gym. Been building it up for about 2 years. Here's my son. So we got the rowing machine here. Great cardio. Right behind there, we got a heavy bag, right? Some Thai pads. I made them myself whenever I have a buddy over to train. Shin guards to spar with my friends whenever they come over, right? And just, you know, a little area to practice the Muay Thai and what I can at home. I've been building this up for about 2 years, and with the pandemic hitting, everything closing here in Ontario, this has been a great little spot to maintain the martial arts training. Over here, we got a little dumbbell rack. I never actually got to filling it up. It was just way too expensive, so I got these adjustable dumbbells right here. All you got to do is screw a plate on them. Very economic. I highly recommend. My bag right here with my gloves, my gi in there. We got it's called a reflex bag right here. Not the best investment that I've made, but it's still decent. It is what it is. Got some awesome gymnastics rings, great bodyweight training. And finally right there, a little mirror and a squat rack with the bench and the plates. here, do some pull-ups, right? Just get a nice grip. Go 1, 2, 3. Hold that squeeze. Build up the lats. Pull-ups are an excellent exercise for the back, the lats. You got these rings as well, which are tremendous. Go some dips. 1, 2, 3. That's it. But as you can see, tremendous right here. Do pull-ups, do rings. You got all kinds of workouts when you got a squat rack and you got gymnastics rings, and you also got the bag right here. It's a great tool to have at home. I mean, really, when you're at home, and especially if you're like me, you don't really have any stable training partners. You don't really have many tools to work with if you're training martial arts, right? But a heavy bag can definitely do the job in the meantime, right? You got everything. You work with jabs, right? Jab across the hook, right? You go for your kicks. 1 time, boom, 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 right? It's amazing. I'll show you a little trick, right? It's called a 360. Right, not the best, not the best. I'll give you 520. And now, my favorite kick of all, spinning back kick. Ooh. That was bad. That was bad, guys. Now we'll do a setup. We'll go 1, 2, 3, and then the kick. There we go. That's how Kung Lee does it, baby. Some Bruce Lee stuff right here. Oh. I mean, guys, said it before, I'll say it one last time. The benefits of martial arts, of lifting weights, of all this stuff, they're amazing. Men, we as men, we're supposed to be masculine. We're supposed to know how to be lethal, alright? Too many bitches out here nowadays that are weak. I'm totally gassed out. But you get the point, right? I've made videos about this. The card is up here. Get the training, martial arts, lifting weights, all that good stuff. If all of it is closed down like it is here in Ontario, you get yourself an awesome home gym like this. And I definitely recommend you, and I'll tell you, it'll be worth it. You still there? You still there? Ooh! Heel kick, baby. The fifth thing that every man must have, which ties into the previous one that I mentioned, is called protection. Now, I'm going to show you what I have right here. This is not the ideal thing that you should have. It's just a multi-tool, as you can see. It has this. It has a couple blades, right? Now, I don't even know how to properly use this myself because I found this on the street a couple years ago, and I still decided to keep it. But here's the reality. I said this at the beginning of the video. I'm going to say it again. It's not a safe world that we live in, all right? A lot of problems. And sometimes when you're in an unfortunate situation, knowing how to use your fist won't be enough. You will be against the wall. Fighting multiple people, fighting people who have weapons, whether it's one person or multiple people, that's worse. Or being in a terrible place where you know nothing about. Because that's the most dangerous thing about a street situation, is that you don't know anything about the person. You don't know anything about the people. You don't know anything about the environment. You don't know what they have. You don't know who they are. You know nothing, all right? Information is very powerful. And if you don't have it and you're in such a vulnerable situation where death is very likely, it's very dangerous, right? So you're going to need protection sometimes. Now, I'm not against guns. I love guns. Guns are awesome. The thing is, obviously, to use them responsibly, right? So, like I said, I found this on the street. Don't do what I did. If you're going to get a weapon, you need two things. Number one, you need to make sure that it's legal, right? And that it's registered, right? Because what happens if you buy a weapon in the market, if you buy a weapon from a friend, you don't know if that's what we call in Mexico, caliente. You don't know if it's a hot weapon, if it was used in a crime. Because if it was, you're going to be in a lot of trouble, even if you didn't commit the crime, right? So you got to make sure that it's legal and that it's registered. And you also got to use it wisely, okay? It's not to go fuck around. It's not to show they have a cool weapon, right? It's when you need to use it, all right? That's the reality. So, like I said, I love guns. I'm not against guns. You want to get a gun, that's awesome. You need one. You need a weapon. I'm not saying you need a gun. You need a knife, whatever. Like I said, this is a multi-tool. It's not the ideal thing to have. I want to get a stiletto knife. In case you don't know what that is, I'm going to post a picture right here. Right? It's one of the knives where you just click and it pops out. But due to the laws here in Ontario where I live, right, and the shipping cost and all that stuff, I'm also moving very soon. I'm simply not going to get it at the moment, right? But as soon as I move, I'm going to get it. I'm probably going to get a gun as well, right? Because even if you know how to fight, like I said, sometimes you're not in a good situation. So you need a weapon, especially if you're a girl, because this video is called, it's for men. But if you're a girl watching this, you especially need something right now. For you, I'd recommend a pepper spray, right? Even for a man, right? This is simply the most easiest thing that you can have, right? It's pretty legal. It's legal in most places that you're going to go, right? And it's simple, right? It's not like a knife. It's not like a gun, right? You just pull it out. You can run away, right? Best solution to every problem, run away, right? Pepper spray. At the end of the day, it's your choice. Gun, blade, pepper spray, whatever else, it's your choice. But the thing is, you need to have one. You need to know how to use it wisely. You need to have it registered, and obviously only use it when you have to. the last thing that every man must have is a logical mindset. The reality nowadays is that most men are weak, right? Most men are weak. Most men are pathetic. They're followers. They're simps. That's the reality. That's the way it's been. And that's probably the way it's going to keep going unless men start to really change. Because men have been slowly getting weaker and weaker and weaker, generation past generation past generation. Emotionally, mentally, and physically. Testosterone levels have been dropping generation past generation past generation. There are many studies. You can go see this. I'm not lying, right? Most men that you meet nowadays are going to be this way, right? Could be your friends, could be a boss, right? A coworker, could be even someone in your family, your dad, your cousin, your uncle, your brother. That's the reality. It is what it is. Do I care? I mean, yeah, I'm here trying to help you, right? But I can't change those people. I can't control those people. I can only give you a message, and for your benefit, you take the message, right? Because the only person I can control and that I can work on is myself. And that's what we need to understand right now. The only person that you can do that is yourself, alright? And you need to have a logical mindset. Because if you have a logical mindset, everything is simply going to be so much more easier. Because the reality as well is that most men nowadays are emotional. They're little bitches, right? They're jealous, they're pathetic, they hate on people for no reason, they get offended by anything you say. That's the reality. Men are simply becoming bitches, alright? They can't take what you have to say. Even if you're joking around, most men are that way, right? It is what it is. So having a logical mindset will allow that to you. If someone is joking around with you, even if they're being serious, why are you gonna get offended? Why are you gonna get pissed off? You know? It is what it is. They're talking, whatever. You know? Be logical. Don't be emotional. You know, if he said this, I'm gonna get angry. I'm gonna go, no. That's the stupid thing to do. That's the weak thing to do. I'm telling you from experience. A strong man is not emotional. There's a difference between having emotions and being emotional. I'm going to make a video in the future very soon covering that. But there's a very big difference, right? I've been emotional in my past when I've been angry. I've broken things, right? I've had problems with people, right? That's not the way it should be. A strong man should not be that way. A strong man should control his emotions, not be emotional. Be logical. Be logical in everything that you encounter. And every problem, and every confrontation, and everything that you encounter in your life, always be logical. Because if you solve things with emotion, it's never going to go well for you. You know why? Because emotion is temporary. Logic, what's up here, stays there forever. If you're angry and you act out of anger, right, you're going to feel, maybe you might not regret what you did, but you're going to feel different eventually because the anger goes away. If you act on sadness, if you act on any emotion, that's all temporary. So what you need to do is always act with logic and act with purpose, right? Simple as that, guys. I push it here in the channel. Be the best person you can be. Be masculine, right? I said it. I covered it in a few points, right? Learn martial arts. Start working out. Become a monster. You are capable of so much as a man. Don't let that go to waste, right? Don't become a weak beta male follower, right? Be an alpha male. Be a strong male, alright? Go work on yourself. I hope you enjoyed this video. I hope they learned something new. And with that said, see you next time.